I'm not sure if I'm hearing this right, but apparently your whole academic journey has been based with BAC, from undergrad to postgrad, and up until you're at the level of CEO level. It's always been with BAC. That breaks the status quo to say we always known that for you to be a CEO, and all the sorts. Tell me what you think about that particular statement.
Yes, indeed, is something that has been happening even in my career. Following other CEOs, you'll find that since they started at UB, then BAC. But for me, I did AAT, I did CMA at BAC, and I've reached my executive level through the qualification that I garnered from BAC. I became a director at LEA with my CIMA, and I've been CFO at Boitekanelo with my CIMA. I've been CFO at Gambling Authority. I'm the formative CFO of the Gambling Authority with my CIMA. I then studied for a master's in strategic business management with the University of Manchester Metropolitan while I was a CFO. So because the requirement for a CEO is a master's degree, so while I was a CFO, because I was also aspiring to be a CEO, so I did a master's with the Manchester Metropolitan University. But currently I'm with the London School of Business. The whole of May I was in London. I'm also going to London in July, but this one is a Senior Executive Development Program, which the organization, as a first-time CEO, I need that development. So I am doing Senior Executive Development Program with the London Business School. I just completed the first module. I'll be going to conclude the last module, which is module 2. But I do agree with you that that has always been the perception. But for me, I would say BAC, the qualification that I got from BAC, those are the qualifications that help me elevate in terms of my career, reaching the C-suite level.
Very interesting. So we are, you would say BAC is indeed globally relevant as it stands with the qualifications that they offer.
It is. I'm currently at I left BAC more than 20 years ago. So I'm back at school now, doing a Senior Executive Development Program. So when you look at the London Business School model, is your BAC. BAC, I'll call it the Botswana Business School. So what you get at London Business School is exactly what's been done here at Botswana Accountancy College. One other thing that maybe I should mention is that I'm the first SRC president of BAC before all these other campuses were built. The other campus, the one with that nice architect, yeah, I'm the first SRC president for the BAC. I've noted even for your CEO or your managing director or the principal, Seti, told me at the other time that, do you know that I'm the first SRC president of BAC? Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. All right, so there you have it. The CEO of Gambling Authority, Mr. Peter Kesitilwe. Now we're doing things quite different, moving far further from the graduation level to now speaking about a person who's been in the classroom, who's now being at the boardroom level, and to tell us about his journey, how it inspires us as BAC alumni, and as well as you, a prospective BAC student, how we can go about in this one. So welcome to it. It's called PODBAC, platform where we get to showcase what BAC alumni are doing out there. Great things in the economy as it stands. So, Mr. CEO, I've got a question for you. It's not my question. It's coming from producers. If you were a color, which color would you be and why?
I'd be white. I'd be white because I'm an honest person. I'm an outgoing person. I fit in each and every place. It's a party. You'll find me at a party. I'm not those accountants that people think accountants are boring. You'll have these big dinner dances. You'll have these summer dinners and dances. During my time, I'll be dancing at all those dinners. I think it also has helped me get into network because I'm really an outgoing person, focused. So it's all about being white, the issues of honest interacting with everyone at all levels. So that is basically me. They will tell you this is the Peter that we know.
So about 3, maybe 4 words, describe yourself. Number 1 being, as a person,
Yes, I'm a focused person.
focused.
I'm honest.
Honest.
I'm outgoing. So I normally say I play hard and I work hard. Yeah.
Right. More than 20 years ago, you started school. Let's talk about BAC as your education partner. It's more than 20 years ago. How did you move about with choosing that, you know what, I'm going to pursue AAT, Botswana Accountancy College from the first time we had Form 5?
You know, I'd be honest with you, I never applied for BAC. I landed in BAC by a friend having applied for me. What had happened is that I'm a science student. So I've never done accounting in my life. So what happened is that I got admitted at the University of Botswana for the BSc program, Bachelor of Science. During our time, we had to go through BSc to go abroad. So as a young person, you want to go abroad and do your metallurgies, be a doctor and all these other things. So what happened is that I went to UB, but I felt this is not what I want. Then I had a friend, the guy is from Ghana. We went to school together, we went to high school together. So this guy kept urging me. We didn't know much about BAC. This is before the campus was built. The main campus was built. We didn't know much. It was all about university. I wanted to be a metallurgist because I had done well in my sciences. But you know, what happened is that those that were ahead of us at high school, they went to do this BSc and a lot of them, they failed. I had to quit. I think within a month I quit BSc. I went and stayed with my mother in Pique. My mother was working in Pique. My father was working in Gaborone. My father was working for Bank of Botswana. You know, the whole year my dad didn't want to talk to me because he said I don't want to go to school. So while this guy called Enes Badas was busy, I started reading a lot about this accounting because I never did accounting because I was from the technical wing. We were cream that were taking all the first classes and all the merits were taken to LOPSEC, Lower Secondary School, where we did sciences. So I've never done accounting in my senior school. So then, you know, I saw a couple of guys who had finished Boy 80. They were already driving the Golf 4, you know. Then I was like, but these guys are driving Golf 4, but they took 2 years, you know, to do AATs. Then I started having some interest. Then this guy had applied for me, and I rejected the first time because now I had applied for external placement. But then I couldn't go external because I was already sponsored at University of Botswana. So as I gave it a chance, I came to BAC, you know, the first time everyone was talking debit, credit, and I was lost. I was lost. Everything was about debit and credit. But now I'm here. I'm saying I'm an A student. I should be a doctor. I should be all these things. But, you know, I developed passion and around accounting. I started learning. And that is where now I said, okay, I've wasted a year because I was out of school for a year, out of tertiary for a year. And my peers are doing their year 2s or year 1 at University of Botswana. I was like, no, let me just finish AAT and dash on to SEMA. So by the time they came to do SEMA, I was already a year into concluding. So I was ahead. I wasted a year, but I was ahead of them. So I'll say that guy really helped me in a way. He's currently the payroll manager of West Ham United. So I was with him in London in May when I attended my first module. So, you know, the guy really helped me. Then from there, when I was doing AAT, there was an option of doing ACCA or SEMA. But out there, most of the CEOs in Botswana, they were SEMA. So it was very difficult in our time to do a SEMA. We had Stephen Lambdin was the cost director of SEMA. During our time, SEMA was failed. People were failing SEMA to an extent that almost from the class of 60 from AAT, you'll find that 90% will go to ACCA. But for me, because when I started AAT, I started following the likes of Alfred Ramasedi, who was the group CEO of Nedbank in South Africa, Reginald Motswaiso, who was the CEO of BHC, there is Mpoma Supe currently, who's the CEO of Stanford. So I followed all these people, and I realized those that went as far as being CEOs are actually from SEMA. And those that went as far as ACCA, they were mainly CFOs, but I realized those that reached the CEO position quickly are the ones that did SEMA. Yes, we have the couples of Chose, who's ACCA, who's with Stanbic, Steve Bogatsu, who's with FNB. There's also one other person who did AAT and ACCA, who I was following, who was Steve Bogatsu. And he happened to be a board member at Lear, where I used to work, where I was a CFO, as a director of corporate service. So it was much more easier to follow some of these people because I'd interact with them. They'll sit in some of the boards and organizations that I work for. So I'd say I landed, my intention was never to do accounting. I didn't know anything about accounting, but I'll tell you with the career path that I've taken, I'd say I think I'm one of the youngest CEO in the state-owned actually, I am the youngest CEO in the state-owned enterprises, as in your parastatals. I was appointed at the age of 44, so you can imagine, because I was accelerated by the AATs and SEMAs.
And CEMAs.
Yeah.
Let me take you back a little bit, just a little bit. You came in, before you came to BAC, the whole plan was to pursue sciences, a career in the sciences, either be a doctor or the sorts. How did the motivation to becoming a CEO come about while pursuing AAT? Because you don't know, say it's all what was going on with the debit and the credits and all the sorts. So the idea was to pursue, the plan was, I'm going to pursue something in the sciences. What changed that after you walked into BC?
After I came to BAC, the ultimate aim that I was to do SEMA, because I could see. So AAT for me was like a bridging. So after my AAT, I never went and worked and bought those golf balls like those that I've seen in the past. So I ensured that I complete SEMA. So the moment I completed my SEMA, it was much more easier. But the thing was, I did AAT, and I would say one of the things that I did right was just to monitor those that have gone to BAC before. Where are they? What are they doing? And you'll see in the newspaper that so-and-so has been appointed a CFO, so-and-so has been appointed a management. So we'll just follow all what they're doing. So I kept doing my own market research, also just to see in the world out there, like AAT is a UK qualification and the SEMA is a UK qualification. So you get to have an AAT magazine, you have to get a SEMA magazine. So you are much more at an advantage rather than those that are just doing local crafted degrees and that, because AAT and SEMA, they are quite international. At one point, I also wanted to work abroad, because there were so many opportunities with AAT. We would receive a monthly magazine, so it was quite much more easier to see and follow where AAT or SEMA would lead you.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to have a conversation about your journey as a CEO, and just to see what the challenges have been, the highlights of your journey as a CEO, being the youngest as it stands in a state-owned enterprise. So please bear with me. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be back after that. Right, there you have it. Mr. Peter Kesitilwe, CEO of Gambling Authority, just talked about being the youngest CEO as it stands in a state-owned enterprise. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Stay tuned. Right, welcome to PODBAC, and currently we have Mr. Peter Kesitilwe, CEO of Gambling Authority, talking about how he studied AAT and going straight into SEMA. But his biggest inspiration was the Golf 4. Now we're going to talk about him being a CEO now, try to figure out greatest inspirations as being a CEO, the challenges, the highlights of being a CEO. He's also the youngest CEO of a state-owned enterprise. Mr. Peter?
No, thank you very much. Maybe let me just talk to how I arrived to the CEO position. I started off my career with BAC. When I was doing my AT and doing my SEMA, I would come and do the accounts payables just to keep myself busy. Then later I landed a job as a management accountant with African Alliance. African Alliance is a fund management company. I've always wanted to be a management accountant. It was prestige to be a management accountant because, like I said earlier on, I've interacted with the likes of Bo Alfred Ramasedi. I think right now is the group CEO of Blue Financial Services, a micro-lending company. We actually talk. We are friends on LinkedIn. We meet at conferences. After African Alliance, I was based in South Africa, so it was quite exciting as well. Every morning, every Monday morning, I'd fly from Gaborone to Joburg, and every Friday morning, I'll fly back. And those that I went to BAC with, I would tell them that if self-actualization was a person, it is me. By then, I thought I had arrived. And you can imagine, for a whole 6 months, having to fly, it was my first time on an airplane. This time around, I told you earlier on that my father was not happy with me having chosen accounting, because by then my brother was doing his doctorate of pharmacy in the USA. So knowing typical Ngwatu men, they would want to have 2 doctors in a family. But the moment I started flying every other Monday and flying every other Friday, coming back home, he was excited. He was working for the Bank of Botswana. When I was doing my AAT, I was attached with Bank of Botswana. That is where now he started understanding accounting, because most of the people at Bank of Botswana, they have done ACCAs, they have done SEMAs. Then I moved on to Botswana Savings Bank as an accountant, accounting services. But the turning around of my career was at Lear. I joined Lear as a management accountant. Within a space of 2 years, I was already a director. I was a management accountant, finance manager, and a director of corporate services. So you can see, so that is where the turning around of my career. Then from Lear, I moved on to Boitekanelo College, where I was the group CFO, where I assisted them with the turning around strategies, them expanding to your Zambias, your Lesotho, your Swaziland. Then an opportunity arose at the Gambling Authority. I joined the Gambling Authority as a CFO. I'm the formative CFO. I joined them in 2016, so it's been well over 7 years as a CFO. Then when my predecessor left, Mr. Tilly Johnson, the founding CEO of the Gambling Authority, I was appointed by the board to act as a CEO. So I acted as a CEO for 14 months. You can imagine, 14 months you are acting, you are not even sure. But then I was appointed by the minister as a CEO on the 10th of November 2023. So I'm relatively a new CEO. That is why I'm having to go and do similarly, going to another BAC, going to the London School of Business to do a senior executive development a program. So it's quite interesting being a CEO. It's especially for a gambling industry, which has got a lot of stigma, because where we work, people actually think we are basically doing casinos. Even my dad once again and my parents once again thinking, but we are a Christian, what are you doing in all this gambling? But it's quite interesting, this industry, or what I'm doing is quite interesting. Before I got appointed, we hosted one of the largest or biggest or most successful conferences called the International Association of Gambling Regulators. So this is where all the regulators meet.
So what is it that you guys do then? Because I think, personally, everybody does think this. Gambling Authority, you manage the casinos, the lottos. I know there was an issue when Sir Tully Johnson was the CEO. On all the sorts. What is that you guys do? Just clarify for us.
We've got such a huge mandate. Before maybe going to what we do, 25% of GDP of Malta GDP comes from gambling. So Malta breathes gambling, tourism and gambling. Then Georgia, 35% of their GDP comes from gambling. So as the Gambling Authority, we are a state-owned enterprise enacted through a Gambling Act of 2012. Our main mandate is to issue out licenses. I'll talk to those licenses and also ensure that there's compliance. And also the other leg that we do is promote responsible gambling. We have done studies, we have done researches. I'll talk to those ones. So let me just first talk to the licenses. Under the licenses, we are mandated with appointing an operator to run the national lottery for the government. So the national lottery belongs to the government. You've said, but I think you have seen recently that we've been at court in terms of the national lottery. That is it's a huge project. You can imagine for you to buy the national lottery document, you have to pay $1 million. Just setting up the national lottery, you need $1 billion because this is national. Yeah, you have to plug all the corners of Botswana. But we've recently won a case at court. So hopefully soon we'll be engaging with the relevant stakeholders so that we can start the national lottery. That is the main one. That is the main license. Then still under licensing under Section 33 of our Gambling Act, it lists all the license type. We do have the betting licenses. The betting licenses are broken down as a bookmaker and a totalizator. Totalizator is pool betting, but bookmaker is what you see on TV. The Euros are on right now. I won't mention them by name, but you know them because some of them have applied in Botswana. So we are currently at a point that by end of July this year, we'll be announcing those that will be holding the betting licenses. Also talking to betting, because I know Botswana, we want the national lottery. The world market, 50% of the world market is from betting because betting is online. Then 14% of the world market, as in the gambling market, 14% is casinos. People don't go to casinos because they want to go and gamble. People go to casinos for social reasons. I think some of you are the baradi to like good casino lao but you get a point. So and then 9% of the world market is from national lotteries. So the world has moved towards betting. So when you talk about what I am doing and I'm enjoying is the fact that we started the process of issuing out betting licenses last year when I was acting. That we started it when I was acting. And I'm happy that end of next month, which is July, we would be announcing to the public who are the operators that have won the betting licenses. Then I talked about issues of compliance. We have to ensure that all those that we give licenses, they comply to the license conditions. As I said earlier, there's a lot of stigma in terms of gambling. What we also do or what we also master is the issue of public education. I recently went to Kenya and we have won an award. Our responsible gambling or public education campaigns are the best in Africa. We recently got an award. I came back from Kenya, I think a week ago. We recently won an award. Currently I have a team of staff who are traversing Botswana. They're currently in Kalagadi. They're teaching Botswana about the pros and cons of gambling. We have developed value chains around the gambling industry. So recently we have also introduced what we call SMS, digital and virtual interactive games. And I believe at BAC we have those graduates who may not be lucky to be employed. These are some of the opportunities. Normally I call it the ones that we recently introduced, the SMS competitions. I normally call them the chama of the gambling. Because this is where we are saying win a car, win a this. It's normally a 3 months promotion, even the games. You are on social media, you always see games popping up. So we have an MOU with the Botswana Innovation Hub, so where we are setting up a lab. We have sponsored a lab where this is where we get all these graduates to develop games. The intention when we went on to an MOU with the Botswana Innovation Hub is because we had envisioned in 2017 that we would have lottery running, so that the lottery games, the betting games, they're indigenous. We don't get the names that you see in your SABC out there. So we mainly run this organizations through those three pillars: the one of licensing, the one of ensuring that there's compliance, and the one of public educating. Over and above that, we do have what you call the National Lottery Distribution Fund. The National Lottery Distribution Fund, it will finance those that are more of arts, your podcast. You want a sponsorship for a podcast, you get money from a National Lottery Distribution Fund. Over and above that, because we currently run 3 funds, or the Act allows for 3 funds. The other fund is for the levy fund. The levy fund, what we do is for the development of the industry. If, let's say, you want to be developing that innovation lab, we are going to use those funds. We also have what you call the responsible gambling contribution or fund. So they operate, if you are given a license, you pay a certain percentage of your revenue towards this cost. So the reason why we've been voted as the best in Africa is mainly because in most countries it's not law. So the operators, they do it, they donate to the cost. So for us, if we give you a license, you have to pay. Because while we are saying that from the study that we have done, 95% of Botswana is in the population, those that gamble, they do it responsibly. But then 5%, they do it, we call them problem gamblers. But we are basically saying, should we now do away with gambling in Botswana because of the 5%? What about the 95% who are doing it properly? So this, yes, so this was a baseline. It was a baseline study. So currently we are doing another study. You know why we are doing this study? There is this site which normally monitors trend in Botswana. It's called Eurotech Zone, Eurotech Zone BW. If you go to Eurotech Zone W, Botswana are one of the largest players of one particular license. I won't mention it. You know the operator.
Yeah.
Out of a survey of 6 million, 10% were Botswana.
Out of 6 million.
6 million survey, those that have played in that particular site.
So just about 600,000.
That is a third of our population.
Yeah.
So now what we are doing is that we are issuing out those betting licenses. Government has lost out on revenues. Government has lost out on employment. You know, I did a quick mathematics, being an accountant. I just did a quick mathematics, and I got to realize that, you know, close to 200 million is being lost every month.
Every month?
Every month.
From betting?
From this betting. Because we haven't licensed, so we don't regulate those. But since we have announced that we are licensing, we have seen those online betting providers disappearing. We still have a few, but a lot of them, they have stopped. Now they've applied. You get my point? So we have lost out on employment throughout the years.
Let me get your drive towards this. I'm trying to understand your mission as a CEO, not only of a state-owned enterprise. You seem to be very driven by developing the country, developing the value chains. You talk about the value chains. You talked about making sure that the 95% of those legal gamblers out there get the full benefit, or give the full benefit rather than get. They give the full benefit to the country. Would you say you're a very patriotic person?
I'm very, very...
And what drives that? What is the motive behind you saying, I want to contribute towards this particular country in this way? It's a very unconventional way. Very unconventional in the sense that gambling, we assume it to be an issue where it's unholy in some instances, right? So in this instances, what drives you to say, but to push Botswana in this way, in this unconventional way, and make sure we get here?
You know, the reason why we invited His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Botswana, to do the keynote address or official open our conference, it was last October, was mainly to drive issues around stigma. I'll tell you, currently, majority of the casinos are owned by foreign entities or foreign nationals. So what happens is that there will be a stigma in that particular industry. But when I took office, I ensured, from acting appointment, I ensured that I teach Botswana about the benefits, also focusing on teaching them on the pros or cons of overindulging in gambling, if I may put it. Every time I get an opportunity, I talk about gambling. Around government circle, I'm called chief gambler. Even the number one person of this country, every time we meet, say, "How are you, chief gambler?" You get a point. Imagine, the president is calling me chief gambler. And I'm always trying to explain that I'm, His Excellency, I'm not a gambler, I'm a regulator. Obviously he knows, but he will just be passing a joke, you know, and the passion is even noted at highest offices in this country. When I arrived from Kenya, it was so funny that I was holding the trophy. So I don't want to put it in any bag. So all these airports, I was holding the trophy. It's so funny that most of the senior government officials, including the Permanent Secretary of the President, the PS Finance, the Attorney Generals, they saw me holding the trophy. We were just about to board an airline to Botswana. So all that they were excited about, they were telling me that we are from your city. They were from Las Vegas. The president had just returned from Las Vegas. So they were just telling me that, oh, you are from your city. And I was telling them that I'm arriving from Kenya as well. We just won an award. I was just happy that if, because they told me that everyone was saying, you know, when you get to an airport in Las Vegas, there's a slot machine. You get a point. There's gambling area. So I was very, very happy that those that are holding much higher offices, at least they're seeing some of these things. And I don't think it was the first time they went to Las Vegas. I think they've been there before. But because of the noise that I'm making, around ensuring that Botswana take up this activity, these are 10-year licenses. If Botswana don't take up this activities, it will be very, very sad. But what we have done, I'll call it a request for application. Maybe you can call it a tender document. We have stipulated that Botswana should be participating. At least 40% should be Botswana. And over and above the 40%, at least 10% should be women and youth, and those that are disabled. So it's mandatory. We are not going to give you a license as bet by me, P2ILT, without a Botswana. So we've been out there teaching Botswana. That's why we developed the value chain. You know, I was telling a friend of mine that basically what we are doing as the Gambling Authority, it's when your Mascoms and Vista came. Nobody knew what was happening. Look at Vista now. Look at Bo Orange, Mascom and Orange. It's just the same way Aragola, look at Let's You get a point? There are some industries that Botswana don't get to participate in. And one of them is gambling. Where I am, it's either you are part of it or the train is gone. We are currently doing a radio program with one of the local radio stations. Every time I'm there, I'm saying, "How do my Atsama?" So we have delayed. We have started in ensuring that totally we train Botswana and we teach them of the opportunities. And you know, I'm happy that the uptake, as in the number of inquiries. We are currently at the investigation of this license. We'll be doing the evaluation and ultimately public hearings and awarding. And we have also crafted some of the licenses so that Botswana can actually benefit. If we have a place, let me just say a bar or a restaurant, once we have appointed a route operator, you go to the route operator, you don't even pay anything. You say, I've got a place. Can you put 4 slot machines here? Can you put 3? You get my point? Then you have a revenue sharing model. Then what we do, Rona, as the gambling, as the regulator, the issues of KYC, the issues of compliance, we deal with the most experienced, which is called the route. The route is more like a wholesale. So the moment we appoint this route, we are going to also announce that if you want to be a site operator, these are the number of routes, these are the names of the routes. So I would say I want Botswana Totala to be part of this journey. These are 10-year licenses, but I'll say these are more or less like lifetime licenses. We have always had casinos for the past 50 years, and they were given 10-year licenses. Every 10 years, we do public notices that we are renewing. Are there any objections? Ever since I joined the Gambling Authority, we have never had a single objection. You get my point? So it's an industry that Botswana, they stigmatize it. But you'll find that this is where when I started, I gave you examples of your Maltas, of your Georgia, how much they contribute to the GDP. You see, Las Vegas. Las Vegas is just a strip. It's just like fairgrounds. It's a strip. Yes, there are townships. There's your Muchudi out there, but it's just a strip that is financing close to 3 states. In America, when you're talking about a state, you're talking about a country. You get a point? And they are building schools, they are building roads, they are building hospitals. Yes, whether we like it or not, we have to ensure that we reduce stigma around gambling. I told you a third of our populations, they play online. Just go to Eurotech.zone. They do that analysis. And the headline is clear saying Botswana are one of the biggest users of bet what. You know it. I think you are betting, but you don't know that it's illegal for now. It's so funny that at times I'll be watching soccer with friends and they'll just be betting. Yes, but we are betting at the regulator's house. So this is quite a huge industry. When you look at the National Lottery, once it's up and running, it will develop the arts and sports. When South Africa hosted the World Cup, the bulk of those stadiums were built out of the National Lottery proceeds. The National Lottery is meant for good causes. You get my point? Over and above, talking to the issues of patriotism, the issues of unemployment, out of the current licensing, the intention is to create at least 3,000 direct jobs. 3,000 direct jobs is quite a lot. We are going to need accountants, we are going to need game developers, we are going to need lawyers, we are going to need everyone. It's quite a huge industry. And now when you talk about my patriotism, is that, every day when we do everything, when we issue all this license, when we do all this SMS companies, because I always tell a team, because I lead an organization and I've got an executive team, that what we should be doing is to ensure that we facilitate as opposed to frustrating. So mine is to facilitate the industry.
Let's speak about that particular aspect of facilitating. You seem very intentional as a leader. Question comes in, were you born a leader or you were created to become a leader?
I would say I was driven to be a leader. I was driven to be a leader. Why I say that is that I wouldn't say I was born to be a leader. I would say I was driven to be a leader mainly because at high school I wanted to be a head boy, but I was short, I couldn't. Then I came to BAC. I became the first SRC president. Even in social football events, I always want to be something.
But let's speak about that aspect. You wanted to become a head boy, go high school, but you couldn't because of height. I don't know how that is a requirement. But you came to BAC and became the SRC, the first SRC president of the college as it stands. Would you say that Botswana County College in some way shaped you to become a leader? Like you said, you were not born a leader, you're driven to become a leader. Yeah. Do you say the college itself?
Yeah, I'd say that, even in other interviews, I always mention that, being an SRC president, ours was not that political like other institutions here. We had the likes of Stephen Lamdin. He was the the principal back then. I would say BAC really helped. But you are there, you are at college, you are at tertiary, you are this young leader, you are organizing a freshers ball. Just also organizing a freshers ball, just the organization, because then we hosted, the first freshers ball we hosted was so successful, getting all these DJs. So these little things, I think, they played a very important role. Then later on, once you're an SRC president, you are always at the forefront. When you get to a workplace, you now want to be a CEO because you believe you can always take a particular institution or association forward. You always want to be at the yes. You become forward thinking. You believe you have the muscle. You have the following. You believe whatever you say. You believe you can always convince people so that they can all rally behind you. So he started at BAC, I would say.
So what do you think as an institution we should continue doing? Because you're given the opportunity, I don't know if you're given by the college, but the students gave you the opportunity to become the president. What other initiatives do you think should be in place, the college should put in place, that would allow students to be forward-thinking, number one, and being able to convince people in the marketplace, either being an employee or an employer, an entrepreneur in this instance, to say, look, this is the vision, this is where we're going, this is what we plan to do, and that type of thing.
Yes, I think, I believe he's still running the Beehive. I don't know whether the Beehive at BAC is there. The business coaching or business clinic.
Changed name?
Yes, you see, I also participated in those. That is when I was director at LEA. I came back to mentor those at BAC, and I was quite impressed with the caliber during that time. There I came as now an alumni, as a graduate. You see leaders, you identify them from varsity. I'll tell you, even people who are holding political office, either they've been SRC president, either they've been chairperson of Wildlife Club at BAC. So I would urge BAC to encourage its students to participate in most of these things. They should be, yes, extra curricular. During our time, we had like wildlife, we had the chairman of wildlife. It was like there were subcommittees within my SRC. You get my point. That is where you get to identify leaders. I'll tell you, I think one of them is a lecturer here. I think he's one of a senior lecturer. I think he was a chairperson of the wildlife club during that time. Yes, I was not a member of that. But the one that I like most as a business school is about this business clinic, business coaching, doing a lot in terms of CSR. We should be seeing BAC out there. I'm not saying they're not doing it, but because of my busy schedule, at times I tend to get to miss some of these things. I do get to interact with your executive director, like your deputy executive director. Corporate service, we're actually in the same class. I was his SRC president, Utsile, there was this SRC president. We did SIMA together, so it's so funny that he was in the army before. When he went for interviews, he would come to me to coach him. The other time we went for an interview at Bofinet, he beat me. You see, now the coach is being beaten, and I was like, but I thought I was just coaching you the other day to be a finance manager of Botswana Executive Council. Yeah. Then he went to, we were all interviewed for the director, corporate services at Bofinet. I was the director at LEA. But I just felt, no, it's just a walk in the park. At times we are the candidates. Because we all know each other. We're like, oh, we're going for an interview there. Then I just relaxed. Then I was hammered. Yeah, so so I think it was a lesson also on its own. So I think it's very, very important. Also BAC, just try and identify some of these young leaders. I do attach a lot of BAC students. I think I've got 4 or so in attachment right now. I do take a lot of BAC and most of the account. But now I'm no longer the CFO. I don't know if they will continue getting some space. But I do encourage, because, I'll tell you about BAC. BAC, like I said earlier, BAC is your London Business School. I'll tell you, if we were to do the rankings, the caliber of BAC is among the top. It's amongst your Harvard Business School, because the kind of education that I'm currently undergoing is more or less what I did when I was doing CIMA. It's only that now it's recent. There's issue of artificial intelligence. There's issue of blockchain. You get my point? But when we get to the corporate structuring, those ones, I'm just, that's fine. The robotics, and it's only that it's recent. But during our time at BAC, it was so recent. I had a lecturer who did organizational management. What he did is that every morning he gets to class, may his soul rest in peace, David Cropper. Every time he gets to class, he'll be like, what's the average price of oil per barrel? I'm still doing early stages of CIMA, but why is this guy asking us about oil price per barrel? Later in my career and in my education, I got to realize that oil price drives everything. You get a point? The issue of just knowing a bank rate. Oil drives everything. Oil drives mining. Oil drives industries, trains, and all these other things. So I would just say, if the issue of, you say you have changed the way you've been doing the BI, try and identify all these leaders. I've got one IT from BAC and a couple who are doing accounting. I think it's always important also try and place them with organizations such as ours, so that when you do some of these public campaigns, when you do some of these lessons, not necessarily at Gambling Authority. SIDA is doing chema, so that they can understand. Leah is doing business so that at times when you go on this outreach programs, they are part of us. They get to understand this is where the country is moving, this is where the world is moving. So those are just some of things. But I guess we'll get to interact more, so that we can see how we can assist those that have recently graduated, or those that are still doing their undergraduate studies.
I think noted. I think the producers at the background, they'll take that for note. I'm running out of time, Mr. Peter. I'm going to take a quick break. Then we're going to talk straight into what you do in your spare time, very briefly, and have that conversation moving on, right? So there you have it, Mr. Peter Kesitilwe, CEO of Gambling Authority, being very intentional about the development of the country, but he's developing it in a different way through Gambling Authority. So take your shot at that one. It's quite innovative as it stands. So quick break, be back after this. Stay tuned. PODBAC. Welcome back to PODBAC, and we are still with Mr. Peter Kesitilwe, CEO of Gambling Authority. We're almost done with the conversation, almost done with the interview. One question I've got to ask you is what you do with your spare time. I do know for a fact that you are a fan of Liverpool, and I don't know how you handle the stress, being a CEO or being a Liverpool fan. Which is more stressful?
Before I became a CEO, Liverpool was doing well.
Yeah.
So we won the league. It was nice. Then I was appointed an acting CEO. Liverpool was not doing well, so I was kept busy. Even this past season. I had hoped I would watch one of the games, but I just decided to just stay in London and not travel to Liverpool, because we are not doing anything. But I'd say Liverpool is more stressful than what I do. What I do, I really enjoy what I'm doing. I'll just tell you a secret to why I'm not stressful with what I do. I'm a formative CFO, and when I joined the Gambling Authority, I started my master's degree. And you know what I did? I specialized in gambling. So I gave myself an advantage. So I specialized in gambling. I remember my supervisor was saying, there's no gambling in Botswana. And I begged my supervisor that I need to do this. I'll rely on other countries, your Kenya, your South Africas. You get a point? So for me, I'm also passionate about what I really do. Like I'm saying, I'm called a chief gambler. You know, seeing a young guy wearing all these skinny jeans, they think, ish. Wrong mistake. Gambling, skinny jean, hyper, because I'm a very hyper guy as well. You know, I'm out there like you hear what I'm a Liverpool fan. If you had to follow me or check my post, 2 years before now, you'll find I used to talk about, but then until now I was appointed acting CEO, then I had to tone down. But you'll see every day I'll just be hammering many fans, and it was all nice and enjoying it. But in a way that we call it football banting, it helped me, it branded me. Some people could identify that though he's a football fan, but career-wise a CFO, you not get invitations to serve in some boards. But now, once you are the face of the organization, you cannot now be doing all this banting with the football banting with the United fans, you know.
Why United? I'm a Mamba United fan. Why?
United and Liverpool, the stadiums are actually 40 miles apart, and you know that one is the greatest rivalry ever. You know, they always talk about the Real Madrid and the Barcelona, but I've attended more than 5 games to watch Liverpool play Man United. You can't come to Liverpool wearing a Man United fan unless you want to lose all your front teeth. And I can't be walking the street of Manchester with a Liverpool fan. It's quite interesting in a way. You know, the time we beat you guys 7-0. Yeah. It was nice. That is before I became the CEO.
I mean, the time we eliminated you guys.
Yeah. But now I'd say for me, when Liverpool was not doing well and I was appointed acting and ultimately as CEO, a lot of focus now went to the CEO. What I'm basically doing. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I'm now a speaker. I speak in almost all the gambling conferences in the world. I'll be a speaker in Rome. I was a speaker in all these other conferences that I attend. So I've seen that I've got a new skill, of which this new skill is the confidence that I built when I became the SRC president. Yes. You get a point? Yeah. So the other most important thing that I forgot to mention is to build confidence amongst the students or these undergrads. It's just to build the confidence. I've seen people that I've went to school with, they did their CMAS, even some finished before me. But they're still management accountants, and I'm like, what happened?
Confidence.
You get up? Yeah, you know, it's very, very important to build the confidence amongst, especially the youth. Yeah, I don't know what you call them, Generation Z or Generation X. You know, that at that time I was talking to my daughter, I was asking, she's doing Form 1. I was asking, so do you use WhatsApp? She said, WhatsApp is for old people. You know, she said WhatsApp is for old people, but the other day I was happy showing my wife that, WhatsApp is introduced. I can actually click on unread and see all the unread messages. I can go to also and just say, no, WhatsApp is for
old people.
It's for old people. And I think I'm young. I've been saying I'm the youngest. You get my point?
Times will change.
Yeah, times have changed.
All right, I'm out of time, Mr. Peter. One last question that you can close off this particular segment with is, what would you say to your teeny self now?
Yes, I think what is important is to maintain some bit of focus and just do what you want to do. Just do what your heart tells you to do. Don't let anyone tell you this is how you should do something. If you want to be a musician, just be a musician. And the other thing is that when you do what you like, make sure that you are the best at it. Do it passionately. I'll just give you an example. I know you are running out of time. Today is Eid. My wife and kids are Muslims, so that's why I'm saying I don't have time. But I have to just do this interview because I had the next interviews in August. You know, my daughter, she's doing Form 1 in Marapula. She told me that, you can imagine how much I'm paying for Marapula. She's told me she's going to be a Muslim music performer. But I'm supporting her. Kura wana viewer wa Islam. I'll just make sure that ke a mo support.
Building confidence.
Just let this one generation is one. We should just let them. Yeah. The reason why we just introduced this digital SMS competitions, Tata is just for them, or by doing all this tech and stuff. Yeah, so that's what I say. Totally, they should just do what they want to do, focus, and totally for us as parents and elders, let's just give them support. Or not some people, this is WhatsApp. Or this was Snapchat. You know, even this morning when I came here, when I came here, I was telling my daughter I'm gonna do a podcast. Wow, Dad, that's cool. You know, as in, and also the TV. Dad, you are cool. Dad, you're actually doing a podcast. You know, point. Cool level. None is my first time doing a podcast. I'm always on TV, on radio. Well, let's just let them do. Oh, and that's when I get motivated and stuff. Oh, so I'm doing. So I can't wait for the link so I can share it with them.
We're very honored that we're the first podcast that you ever came to. All right.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Peter Kesitilwe, the CEO of Gambling Authority. Thanks for coming through into it. Very interesting, very intriguing. I didn't know that you can actually develop the economy through gambling. But we're losing how much per month again? 200?
Around 200 million. But don't forget, this is one license type. And we are issuing out 8 licenses.
8 licenses.
So you can imagine. So it's a lot of money.
A lot of money.
No, thanks for them inviting by me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. There you have it. PODBAC, the CEO of Gambling Authority, Mr. Peter Kesitilwe, just talking about how he contributes to the economy through gambling. Take your pick. Until next time, PODBAC, bye.